Right. So if you're joining, we just cannot get Kate to be able to be the host for some reason.
I'm so angry. I don't know why it works for you and it doesn't work for me.
I know. Meta is just misogynistic, is what we've
It,
learned. So
don't start
it's
with me.
ridiculous. We've tried this twice. Every time I'm requesting in your comments, trying to join,
And I'm
not
like
working.
sending you an invite. Like, I don't know what it is, but okay. Hi.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. The weather here in Oklahoma is nice, so I decided to sit outside because we
Did
have
you?
it's the Midwest, so we have all of 2 weeks before it goes from this 70s to 100 plus and
Yes.
just miserable. So
Did you have those storms
yeah, a little
the other
bit.
day?
I mean, where I live is very interesting when it we have tornadoes all the time, but it
Mm-hmm.
either like bounces south towards Lake Thunderbird from OU or it goes north to Moore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of like how I am. Like, we're always on the outskirts of like where
Yeah,
all the really bad things happen. It's like we always miss it. We're always in like the warnings, but like we
yeah.
never get it. It's really
I
weird.
tell people I'm Tornado Alley, but I'm more like Tornado Side Road. Like
Yeah,
we're
same.
near it all the time.
Yes, you
So
feel you.
okay, so let's talk life,
Yeah,
world. There's high
life.
points and low points, but there's a big obvious topic in your
Yeah,
life
in
that
my life.
we want to catch up on. So let's just recap from your words, your post and kind of what was happening because I think it's important for people who are tuning in.
Yeah, and I don't want to harp on it too much, and I don't want that to be like the main focus, but
But yeah,
I had a bigger male creator um use one of my posts. Like my exact words. I even went and like screenshotted his and then went to like look at mine to like make sure that I wasn't crazy because I'm like
right.
this is verbatim. Like these are, and it wasn't like something that I took from someone else either and repurposed. Like those were my words that I created, that I spent time on. Um, and so I sent it to you and
Yeah.
to a couple other people. I'm just like, what do I do with this? Like, I commented on his like, hey, like remember to give credit to like the creator who is a
Yeah.
woman, who is me, because the post was about abuse towards women.
Right.
Um, and it's just like, remember to just do that. And then my comment got deleted and then I got blocked. And I was just like, what? And so then a
Yeah.
bunch of other people were commenting on it and telling him to, and he was deleting their comments and blocking them too. And I made you encouraged me to make a video, and I made a video because that wasn't
Hey,
something that I was going to do. That's not something
speak your
that I
truth.
do.
Yeah.
And so I
Which you
did.
shot brilliantly, by the way. It was just
Yes, thank
perfectly done.
you.
Yeah.
Thank
You
you.
got the point across and you did it in the style that it needed to be done. So,
Yes. And so eventually, after so many people tagged him, he turned off his tags. You can no longer tag him, and he removed the video, which is was never what I was asking for.
right.
Because it's important messaging. Like I wouldn't have posted it if it wasn't important. Like amplify
Yeah.
the message, but like give credit,
Right. Like, and that's the thing about Instagram is that there's very little originality. We're not all
Yeah,
coming up with every single thought, but we are all expressing it in certain ways. And if you're not going to be original with how you express it, it takes 1% effort to credit
right.
the people doing it. And if you're going to do it on a
Like
topic like that, that's
IP, yeah.
just
Like
you
IP
especially a
at,
woman.
yeah,
Again, we're talking about a topic that is affecting women, impacting women, and again, not going to harp on the creator
yeah.
specifically, but I have two kind of types of creators I'm vigilant about, and faceless creators are definitely one. I want to
Mm-hmm.
make sure I know who I'm following to some extent, not to hate on faceless creators. There's some I love,
Mm-hmm.
and there's privacy reasons to be a faceless creator, but there's also just like speechless creators. And if you're going to do text videos, but do not just steal other people's expressions and represent as your own. And if you are going to, just credit them. I mean, I know Monty mentioned it in the comments of your video. I've done it the same way. Like every now and then you just kind of get careless and fast paced and it's moving, you're creating content and you put something out there. But going back and just adding OP this
Yeah.
person.
I mean,
takes so
the
little.
video that I posted earlier that day was from someone else. But like
Right,
when I do that, like I always also make sure to go and boost their original post too. Like I liked
right,
what you said so much that I want to put it on my page to help boost you too. Like that, those are good words that need to go out there, and I don't think I can say them any better. And
right.
so I go, I like yours, I repost yours, and then I put it over on my page, and then you're tagged in the caption so that people can go and find you too. Like that's the decent etiquette to do. And
Yeah,
especially this creator who is such a big creator, I'm very small potatoes compared to him, was just, it just felt very disrespectful and
right.
very disingenuous. And especially like when I ended up being blocked and I'm still blocked. It's like,
Right. It's almost more frustrating the fact that
yeah.
one, not just blocking you, but taking down the content. Like as you mentioned your sequel video, which I'm honestly really happy you made because it drives
I
home the
wasn't
point
even
that
going
like,
to, but
yeah, like at the end of the day, it takes less effort to just give you credit than to gaslight and protect the idea that there's some like deleting it does nothing for anybody. Nobody. And so if
mhm,
you're gonna stand on the side of women, especially on a topic this fucking sensitive, and everybody's posting about this exact story right now.
mhm,
So, and then one of the reasons I haven't, because I feel like it's more important just elevate women who are talking about this story, not just be another man reiterating that this website's out there.
yeah,
And so if you're gonna copy and paste, especially on speechless pages, just like it takes the same amount of effort, if not less, less text than what he copied and put into his video than to put your name in the caption.
yeah,
And that's what drives me crazy. It's because like that takes less effort than deleting the video.
yeah,
And you deleted the video because the comments were ratioed at that point. But it's just
yeah,
frustrating because it's just I don't know. It's one of those examples that like you just got to be vigilant with these type of topics, and even with men. Just say it out loud. Like there's so many men that pander to these exact circumstances, and this rape website is a good one where it's like, oh yeah, well I can say this is bad, and
yeah,
objectively this is bad, and just making videos about it being bad so you can get followers is not enough in my mind. You really should be elevating the voices of people who have been affected or impacted by these sort of things deliberately. What we have not seen at all from this website is any actual public victims, and I think that's important to understand because this is such a traumatizing thing for the women who
mhm,
have seen themselves on that website or seen that their husband or spouse might have done this.
yeah,
And I think I just, and so that's a, we'll move on a little bit to another topic that
yeah,
I've mentioned in private, and we won't mention the creator either because
no,
we're on kind of on a creator rant
yes,
right now. But there's a creator that came out with a viral post, and it was basically a new website to help women report these things. And my girlfriend immediately showed it to me, was all excited about it, and my first thought really was like, there's nothing in this video of what you're doing with it. You're collecting emails, you're telling people that a burner account is good enough. It's definitely not enough to protect people, I can tell you that right now. But
mhm,
the bigger question is, what is the end goal of things like that? And as me and her have talked about it more, her simple, or even what you said in our text is, I should be vigilant of this and distrustful of this just because a man's creating it.
yeah. I'm
And
a man is
I
creating this website that I'm supposed to give all my like personal information to about like something very personal. That just seems odd to
right.
me.
And
But
you know, if you're going to be very clear what you're doing with the information, it's one thing. And again, I'm not hating on this creator. He seems in some ways to be making very genuine content about this idea. It might not be fully thought through coming from somebody who's worked in the app world in particular and kind of understands limitedly. I'm not a coder, but I am somebody who's worked in that world. And so like the technical side doesn't make a lot of sense to me right now. And
mhm,
as I mentioned in our text, like there's women resource groups, there's a lot of entities you can report these things to. Why would I just give it to somebody who created a website, making me give an email, telling me that it's going to be secure, but not giving me the end goal? Like, are you going to
right.
dox these men when I give you the story? Are you going to report them to authorities? And I think we're at a point right now that there's a lot of men in particular that are gravitating to these topics because they are so Epstein unconscionable. Like our bar is so low right now that
Mhm,
we're at this level of like people just making content and saying they're an ally.
Hmm.
And like as I mentioned to you, like I could have very quickly jumped and made a video about what you were going through, but like there, I rather elevate voices right now of who's going through it than just like regurgitate it. And when it comes to a tool, we need to make tools. We definitely need to have these options for women. But my question to women is, what do you think the best tool would be for you? And obviously, I don't think many of us, especially women who have obviously gone through the actual authority channels, the government channels to report their assaulters, some random guy creating a website and collecting your email, burner or not, and then saying that's enough. Like, if there's no end goal, like what is your like what do you feel like you're getting out of it? I like, again, I don't want to, I could rant about this a lot. I have a lot
Yeah.
of concerns about it, but I want to hear from your perspective, especially us talking, what you think about this, because you're already dealing with kind of creator
Right. So I,
hijacking, so to speak.
right. I mean, I, you sent that to me this morning and I watched it later this afternoon. And my first thought was like, why is a man creating this? And so maybe that's just my man
It's
hating
fair,
right
yeah.
now. But then to
And
also,
what women are participating? Like that should
yes.
be a very good follow-up question.
And then I think he made a follow-up video, or maybe it was the same video, saying that like it was already up and like he was hoping to get it up in 24 hours. It's like a video, like content like that cannot be ready to go in 24 hours. Like
Yeah.
that's just, I feel
Not if
very
it's protecting women. Yeah.
right, very clickbaity. And it's like, hey, look at this great thing I'm doing. But to have something up and running with that sensitive information that quickly, I don't think is actually safe. And a lot more thought
And
and planning needs to be put into it for sure.
right. And so hypothetically, for as a woman, if you were to report to a website like this is actually like an answer I would love to give this creator without doxing him right now is,
Hmm.
what would your end goal be that you want when you report to a website like that? I think that's very important for women to express to him as a creator, or
Yeah.
any creator making something like that, is, if I'm going to give you this trusted story that I went through, email or not, what are you doing with it? And so, what is your answer to that question?
I don't even think I have one. I just think it's kind of weird. Like, what is the end goal? Like, are you looking for like actual justice, like for this to be taken through the courts, or are you just looking for like this person to get hated on and to get
Right.
doxxed? Which I mean, right now I think that either is good, but
Right.
one
Yeah. I
is
mean,
not
and you should at
ethical,
least be
I
clarifying it.
guess.
Like, that's my
Yeah.
biggest problem right now is, again, I'm not going to name the name, but there's 7 or 8 videos now, and there's not one of them explaining what you're doing with the information. And that bothers me on a red flag technical level of, you're rushing to create this so women will give you very vulnerable information, saying that a
Hmm.
burner email is enough to protect them, but no actual end goal. I like, again,
Yeah.
women know, they have, any woman in a desperate situation know, you can go to the Women's Resource Center or certain groups and government entities and report.
Hmm.
Very often nothing will get done. So why would I give it to you?
Yeah. So
And
what are you gonna
I'm
get done with it? Yeah, for sure.
right. Like, and I'm just another dude here sitting there saying this. Like, I'm watching this website going, I wouldn't give you my story. Doesn't
Mm-mm.
make any technical sense to me. And so, and the red flags are sort of popping because there's thousands of comments of people that are just like, thank you for doing this. I love that you're doing this. But there's not enough diligence on like what this is actually going to do. And I
Yeah.
just hope I hope he's thinking about that. I don't want to hate on this creator. It
No, it's a
genuinely, there's
great
at least 1 or 2
idea.
videos where he's
Yeah.
emotional, and so I would love to think that it's purely genuine and just not fully thought out. But these are
Hmm.
questions that need to be answered if you're going to do something like that, because
Yeah.
it's not the person creating it. In fact, his most recent video is the fact that you can't stop me because the most common reported man on the website is him, and because his trolls are showing up and thinking that's the
Hmm.
best move. And fine, he knows that's not going to hurt him. But like,
Hmm.
there are women who are reporting, and there are people more technical than you. And if they get a hold of that information, you're not the one most at risk. And I
Yeah.
think that's very important for him as he goes through this treading lightly to acknowledge. But
Hmm.
as I said, I don't want to, we both don't want to linger on other creators all night.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
other news stories, other things happening in the world. What are you thinking right now?
No, I feel like so much has happened this week. Like
Yeah.
Last Sunday was Jesus as, or not Jesus as Trump. Trump is Jesus, sorry.
Yeah.
Trump is
Right.
Jesus attacking the Pope. Um, I had
Opening the Strait of Hormuz,
opening
closing
the
it
Strait of
again.
Hormuz. I had an interview with a former U.S. ambassador to the Holy See, which was crazy.
Yeah, let's talk about
So
that more because that was you were really
like
excited about that. I want to
that
know.
was Wednesday. I feel like that was a year ago. Like so much has
Yeah,
happened. No, it was really cool. I got connected with this organization and they just are like, "Hey, this person's available to interview. Are you available?" I'm just like,
yeah,
"Heck, yes, I am available to interview the former US ambassador to the Holy See." And so it was like a 15-minute rapid fire uh interview and it was great and he was super fast and super smart and I felt very intimidated, but it was very good.
What was
We talked
your favorite question you asked and kind of the answer you got, or maybe unexpected answer you got?
um so this was Ambassador Joe Donnelly, who was a former, he was in the House in Indiana and then he was in the Senate. Um, and then he became the ambassador. And so during Trump's like first term, he voted a lot with Trump because he was a very bipartisan. He was probably like the most bipartisan Democrat in the Senate and in the House, and
Yeah,
he voted with Trump a lot of the time. And so I did ask him about that because I was like, you know, you voted against like the Dream Act in 2010, and but then
right.
like you like wanted DACA, like because that was going to hurt DACA recipients in your state during Trump 1.0. You voted to secure the border wall and you, for billions to go there. You said
Yeah,
dismantling ICE would be like a terrible decision. Now that we're in 2026 and Trump 2.0, like how has that changed? Like for you, like do you have any not regrets, but how has that history sat differently with you?
yeah,
And he was just like very straight, like it's a different time right now. And so, which I felt was very telling, because there was this man, Democrat, who voted with Trump more than 50% of the time, saying like this is a different time, and like we just need to be cautious about what's happening because what's happening right now is not normal. And for
yeah,
this to be one of the, if not the most bipartisan Democrat in the Senate at the time, to say that um, was very telling to me, at least.
yeah.
Um, because you know he voted a lot with what's her Susan
Susan
and Maine.
Collins.
Is it Susan Collins?
Yeah, I think
They
that's
were
right.
like
Yeah,
BFFs. She was the very most bipartisan conservative, and he was the most bipartisan Democrat. And so it was just
right.
like
Interesting.
okay. So I thought that was a
Yeah.
really telling answer, and that was probably my favorite question because it's like okay.
Nice. Yeah. So, and so they just emailed you in particular. Was it based on, did they see your Instagram? Did they tell you how they found you in particular? Because obviously you're making great content, but
No, it was a cold email. This was
nice.
actually my second one that I got from them. So the first time was a couple weeks ago, and it was just a cold email. Like it was in reference to ICE, Operation Metro Surge, to
Yeah.
interview this Minnesota state auditor about the financial repercussions of what was happening. And so that was just a cold email, and I was like, yeah, I
Nice.
am. And so then now I'm
You're
kind of
doing
like
it.
in their network. So
Yep. Yep. Officially a journalist.
feel very weird because I'm not a journalist. I'm just a content creator. But so
No,
now
you
I'm
are.
mingling into this world.
Nope. You're an independent journalist. That's honestly one of my favorite things about, working with Mike in particular. I can tell you,
Mm-hmm. Oops. Can't hear you.
can
Oh,
you hear
there you
me?
go. Yes.
There you go. I've got these jujitsu ears, so my earpiece doesn't seem very easily. So one of the things I was going to say is, one of my most enlightening things I think working with Mike over the last year in particular is that, like, I don't think people understand the historic moment we are and the fact that traditional journalism in the way that our generation see it in the 24-hour news cycle has only existed for 3 decades or so.
Mm-hmm.
We're really looking at the creation of CNN and really uh, Reagan and Roger Stone and them deciding to push this idea that you don't have to tell the truth on the news, and then
Mm-hmm.
Fox and CNN and MSNBC all kind of getting into this 24-hour news cycle of battle of propaganda and their idea, or even not fully propaganda, but just like ideological kind of pigeonholes for news.
Mm-hmm.
And our parents lived in it, and we grew up in it and got very more vigilant about it, like when it came to like 9/11, the war in Iraq, things like
Mm-hmm.
that. And I think the biggest thing happening right now for young people is they have completely abandoned, like if you were to look at the crux of like distrust in news traditionally versus trust in independent journalism, we've reached it. This is it.
Mm-hmm.
They trust independent journalists more than traditional news. And that's why you see people like Jim Acosta, Dom Lemon, and traditional voices doing so much better in independent journalism.
Yeah.
Because somebody like Don, who, one, we all grew up with as a voice,
Mm-hmm.
same with Jim on CNN. We've gotten to now see them in this more audacious realm of independent journalism that only makes you respect them more because it's more raw. It's
Mm-hmm.
Don actually on the ground getting challenged by the president versus what is my corporate, boss going to tell me to do. And those representations in particular, I think we're going to look at Don Lemon, Jim Acosta, and Joy Reid and these examples from traditional media that have moved into the crux of right now in the last 2 or 3 years. And Substack being a big part of that, that moves people into there are ways to trust media without ever trusting the media industry.
Yeah.
And so when you say you're not a journalist, you absolutely are a journalist. Like, do not sell yourself short. You are 100% a journalist at this point. And we are in that world that, like, you are probably trusted by far more of your followers than they would ever trust CNN, even MSNBC, more left leaning, or any of those organizations. Same reason people are willing to watch Aaron Parnas as kind of a Dan Rather type character, because what people love
Mm-hmm.
about Aaron isn't that he's very opinionated. They really love, he's the opposite of that.
Mm-hmm.
I pulled out my phone, breaking news. This is what's happening. Love it or hate it. It's kind of this Dan Rather effect. People
Yeah.
miss your 5 o'clock news correspondent, and he fills that in the independent media realm. And
Yeah.
so, one of the big things, though, is like what you did even just this week, again, speaking in the way you did to deliver not just an important story like that, but what's happening around a bigger story and women voices getting drowned out. That was journalism. That wasn't just an anecdote. That was journalism. And you did a great job of it. So I think you need to give yourself flowers for that in particular. So,
Thank you.
but we're in this cool spot that I think we need to realize that like traditional media is no longer powerful. Like
No.
we're all watching it, whether you're educated on political nuances or not. You're watching traditional media going, yeah, okay. And a lot of people trust what they see on this screen more than they do what they see on their TV at this point. It's because you're raw and you're being honest about it.
Yeah. There was a creator, I'm not going to mention her name, we could talk about it privately, but she broke a big story last summer, and tried to like give it to like mainstream media and
Mm-hmm.
mainstream reporters, and they wouldn't take her story. And so she's just kind of been like sitting on it, and now all of a sudden it is breaking into mainstream media. And she had all this information last summer, like trying to break it out,
Mm.
and it wouldn't. And so yeah, independent creators, like we do this as a hobby. Like this is just fun for
Yeah.
us to go and
Yeah.
find all this information.
Yeah. I
And
think there's
people
a
who
lot
do
of
this
people that
as
think,
their
especially,
job.
well, and that's important to talk about too, because there's a lot of reports coming out. When you look at the difference between leftist content creators and right content creators, we're living in different worlds. The amount of
Yes.
money thrown at right content creators, and there's so many people that cliche that aren't content creators. They're just like, oh, well, you're doing this because you're making money. I've made $0 on Instagram. I maybe made like out of my
Zero.
I was on TikTok live for hours on end, maybe made $200 in 4 years. So yeah, there's no life-changing money as a leftist content creator. You are talking from what you believe in a lot of ways. And yes, there is money for not me, but there's creators that know how to
For
find that
bigger
money.
creators, yeah.
Yeah. And so, but in comparison, you're looking at 10x on the other side. And we
Hmm.
saw, I don't remember that creator's name that just did that expose that was kind of about that, because she was on the right side of that. And she was not typically a political creator, but kind of started dabbling in politics. And she was being offered